Hi friends, today we'll be talking about the urea cycle. Seems to be a bit complicated, but then don't get confused, don't get much bothered about it. We'll be making it in a simplified way that how exactly this particular nitrogenous waste product, that is urea, it is formed. Now talking about urea cycle, the cycle which comprises of 4 sequential steps, cyclical step which lead to the formation of the major excretory product in the mammals, that is urea in the liver. So remember that mammals, they are ureotelic and they excrete urea, and this particular urea is formed in the liver. So this particular urea cycle, it takes place in the liver, right? So talking about nitrogenous waste product, as I told that depending on the organisms, all the ammonia which has been liberated after the complete metabolism of all the nitrogen containing compounds like your nucleotides or amino acids, it is converted into a single waste product. Now depending on the organism, like certain organisms like fishes and all aquatic, they are ammonotelic, so they excrete ammonia. And mammals as such, they are ureotelic, so we produce this particular urea. You will find some snakes, lizards, reptiles, they produce uric acid as their major nitrogenous waste product, so they are what you call as uricotelic. Anyways, we'll be today talking about the ureotelic organism, and we'll be talking about the formation of this particular urea. So talking about this urea, as you can see, the entire pathway for formation of this particular urea in the liver, it was worked out in 1932 by Sir Hans Krebs and Kurt Hanslitt. The same Sir Hans Krebs who later on discovered the Krebs cycle. So today we'll be talking about this particular urea cycle. As you can see, operating in 2 basic compartments. One is the mitochondria and other is the cytoplasm of the liver cell. This urea, it is formed by the combination of these amino groups and this CO2. So talking about this urea cycle, these 4 sequential steps, it starts in the mitochondria. So you have got this ammonia from different sources. It may be from alanine, it may be from transamination reaction, it may be by the action of glutaminase. Here it may be from the action of glutamate dehydrogenase, which is removing this particular ammonia. It may be from the oxidation of amino acid by the bacteria in your intestine. So whatever may be the source, you have got this particular ammonia. So this is the first what you call as amino group which is going to be incorporated in the formation of your urea in the liver. So this particular amino group in the first step in the mitochondrial matrix, it combines with the carbon dioxide which is produced during the respiration in the mitochondria. So during the mitochondrial respiration, there is production of carbon dioxide, your amino group is transported there. So this amino group, it combines with this carbon dioxide in a what you call as ATP hydrolysis linked reaction catalyzed by carbamyl phosphate synthetase 1. This is a coenzyme of carbamyl phosphatase synthetase 2, probably which you must have encountered during the pyrimidine nucleotide biosynthesis. That you will find in my some other video in the same channel where we have discussed how these pyrimidine nucleotides they are formed. Anyways, coming back to the urea cycle, carbamyl phosphatase synthetase 1. Now this particular carbamyl phosphatase synthetase 1, it catalyzes the formation of this carbamyl phosphate, where you have combined one waste product of your amino group and another your carbon dioxide in the formation of this particular carbamyl phosphate. So this is the first what you call as intermediate which is now going to enter the 4 step cyclical reaction of the urea cycle. So the ornithine which is present in the mitochondrial matrix, it acts as the acceptor of this particular carbamyl phosphate group, and there is what you call as a reaction catalyzed by ornithine transcarboamylase. So in the first step, your ornithine along with this carbamyl phosphate undergoes the what you call as combination to form what is called as your citrulline. So the first product which is formed in this particular urea cycle is your citrulline. So citrulline is formed by the combination of this ornithine and your carbamyl phosphate. So citrulline is formed, ornithine plus carbamyl phosphate forms this particular citrulline. Now this citrulline is transported into the cytoplasm. So this first step, it took place in the mitochondrial matrix. Your citrulline is now transported to your what you call as your cytoplasm of the liver cell, your hepatocytes. So this particular citrulline is now what you call as added with the adenyl group with your AMP. So there is a formation of an intermediate, that is citrulyl AMP. This citrulyl AMP then combines with the aspartate, which you have got from this transamination reaction here by aspartate aminotransferase. So here your oxaloacetate is aminated to form your aspartate. This aspartate, it combines here with arginosuccinate synthetase. So this arginosuccinate synthetase, it catalyzes this two-step what you call as reaction of converting your citrulline into your arginosuccinate. So here transiently there is attachment of this AMP of this ATP. Then the AMP will be removed. This AMP will be replaced by this aspartate. So you have this particular aspartate which will now you feature here now. So this is actually bringing the second amino group. So try to focus on where these amino groups they are coming from. We got this first amino group here. Yes, you can see this. We got the second amino group from this incoming aspartate. So this amino group is added here and there is formation of which is called as your arginosuccinate. And this particular arginosuccinate then acted upon by the enzyme arginosuccinase. Arginosuccinase, it catalyzes the removal of this fumarate. So all the carbon skeleton here is removed, leaving the amino group of the aspartate. So from the aspartate you took the amino group, entire carbon skeleton you removed in the form of what is called as your fumarate. Now this fumarate, it can actually go and enter into the what you call as your Krebs cycle. So these many of the intermediates they are linked. So many of the times we call this as a Krebs bicycle. So because of the linking of this Krebs cycle and the urea cycle, we refer to this as the Krebs bicycle. Anyways, so this fumarate has been removed, the carbon skeleton has been removed, and now you have formation of arginine. This step is the only reversible reaction that is catalyzed in this entire urea cycle. So this is the only reversible reaction here. So arginine is being formed, and then you have the key step, that is the formation of urea, that is being catalyzed by arginase. So arginase catalyzes the removal of the what you call as this urea part. You can say it catalyzes the formation of this particular urea. So from this entire arginine now you remove this particular what you call as urea, and you have brought back this ornithine, and this particular ornithine is the starting material for the urea cycle, and this ornithine now enters back into this what you call as mitochondrial matrix to again what you call as have another cycle, that is your urea cycle for the formation of urea. So to summarize, the urea cycle comprises of 4 basic steps. The first step actually is starting from citrulline. If you are talking about, there are 4 steps. If you start from this carbamyl phosphate, you will have 5 steps. So in the first case, you will find amino group. It is carboxylated in an ATP dependent reaction and phosphorylated to form carbamyl phosphate. Ornithine, it combines with carbamyl phosphate to form citrulline. Citrulline, in that combines with aspartate and ATP via the intermediate formation of citrulyl AMP forms arginosuccinate. Arginosuccinate is cleaved to form fumarate and arginine. Arginine is further cleaved to form urea and ornithine, and this ornithine is the first what you call as intermediate of this particular urea cycle. So stay tuned with me, Professor Girish Kukreja, for more in microbiology and biochemistry. Thank you.